Olá, amigos, tudo bem? Sejam todos bem-vindos a mais um episódio do Bangers Open Air, o nosso podcast oficial do Bangers. E hoje a gente tem um convidado, cara, mais que especial. Ele é tão especial que eu não tenho capacidade para entrevistá-lo. Na verdade, eu tenho uma entrega para fazer agora e eu vou ter que ir embora. Nosso convidado de hoje é simplesmente Kerry King. Hello, Kerry. How are you?
Awesome.
Pleasure to see you here.
It's great to be here. It's been too long.
I had to go because I have a delivery to do with my bike.
I heard.
Yeah.
Better get out of here.
But we have a very nice people here and a very nice guy to interview you.
We'll see.
He's the best.
I'll let you know.
Yeah. He's the best. Gastão Moreira. Gastão. Amado mestre. Eu tenho que fazer entrega.
Thanks a lot,
ali.
man.
Tem que fazer entrega. Entrega, eu vou embora.
How you
Tchau.
doing, my man? First of all, be really welcome here. How many times have you been here to Brazil? You know?
I don't know.
Many?
Many, for sure.
Any on vacations or always playing with the band?
Well, it's kind of the same thing, right?
Do you think so? Is it the same thing to tour by yourself with your own band and with Slayer? What's the main difference for you?
Well, my band's new, so I'm anxious for all my guys in my band to come down and experience what it's like to play one of my shows, because the fans, you know, they don't know. Of course, they know the difference between Slayer and myself, but they know I come from both bands. So the reaction for my band is basically the same, and it's a lot more rabid than some of the other guys are used to. So I'm happy for them to come down to experience what I've been experiencing for 40 years.
Do you prefer playing like big venues or small venues?
Well, big ones, because you have more of a budget to burn things, and I love to burn things. But this tour we just got done with in America a month ago, you know, we got our first headline sellout in New York City, where I live now, so that made it extra cool for me. But you know, it made me appreciate the theaters, because I haven't played theaters in years. So theaters, they're very cool venues to play because it's more intimate, yet still big enough to where you can put on a reasonably good show. So it's a lame way to answer it, but they're both cool.
You were living in New York, you said. You moved from Phoenix? Were you living in Phoenix all this time, or?
Phoenix I got out of in 98.
Okay, long time.
I was in Southern Cal for a long time. I was in Vegas for like 2-3 years. And now I've been in New York going on 4 years.
You lived in Vegas too? That's why you're Raider support?
No, I was a Raider fan in the 70s.
Oh, really?
When they were in Oakland the first time.
Okay. And tell me something. You're going to do just one concert here in Brazil. What can you tell us about this concert? What have you prepared for us?
I haven't prepared anything since it's a month away.
Really?
But the tour we just did, we played the entire record, played a handful of Slayer songs, played a couple of Iron Maiden songs. I want to rely on our music, because you're coming to see Kerry King play. You're not coming to see Slayer. You're not coming to see Iron Maiden. Maybe on the same bill sometimes, but so I want to focus on our stuff. But I think my fans deserve to see songs they expect me to play, like Raining Blood, you know, whatever. And the Iron Maiden stuff, just a little self-indulgent thing we all like to do. And it's fun, and the fans, they expect it now, but they didn't expect it when we first started playing it. And we focus on songs that are either from bands that don't exist anymore, like Motorhead, for instance, or like Maiden, and they haven't played Purgatory since the late 80s.
Purgatory, good choice. Huh?
Yeah, and I want to give the fans the opportunity to see these great songs. If the bands haven't played them in decades, I think it's only fair that we do them.
You play the whole album, every song?
Our album?
Yeah.
In America, we did. We had an hour and a half set. I think here, I don't know, but I've heard we play an hour, so I'll have to shorten it a little bit. But, you know, we'll play a good mix of everything everybody wants to hear.
And I know that you have songs enough for a second album. Are you going to play any new song?
No. I mean, all the songs for the second album, none of them have lyrics yet. It's just basically guitar and drums. I've always been of the opinion that playing stuff that people don't know is more of a detriment, because if it's a fast song, there's no way they're going to keep up with it. And 9 times out of 10, the first song I finish is going to be a fast song. So I think the fans deserve to know the song before they hear it. I know it's exciting for everybody to hear it, but every time you do it, people just stand there and look at you like you're playing a song they never heard before, because that's what you're actually doing.
That's true. What can you tell me about the way you compose? Do you like composing by yourself?
Yeah.
You always did it, or you used to compose with Jeff?
I haven't composed with Jeff since 2000. The last song that we co-wrote was on God Hates Us All.
Okay.
And the only reason that was because we called him the Recluse because he lives out of town. He was only an hour away, but he's an hour away in a direction that no one goes. So it was just how it came down. I'd finish my songs by myself. He'd finish his songs by himself, or he and Tom would work together. It sounds like we had a beef or something. There was no trouble. It's just like we never saw each other. And that was before computers did that much. Computers were there, but we weren't using them yet.
And your kind of music is very riff oriented. You always start with a new riff?
Yeah.
What do you do? Do you record it?
Record it on my phone. On
your phone?
Yep. Yeah, and if I get to the point where I feel it's a song, I'll send that song to Paul, and I'll get a piece of paper and write not time signatures, but like say beginning 30 seconds, 48 seconds, minute 3, and I'll say what that part is, and I'll write down what drums I expect to hear there. So when we get together and play it, we'll have a demo in 5 minutes.
You have everything on your mind.
Generally, there's gray area that, I'll let a drummer be a drummer and say, hey, do your thing.
And the lyrics. You are used to write lyrics. How did you write the lyrics for this album?
I wrote it in a couple different homes, which is weird. I wrote some during the pandemic. I wrote some when I was stuck in a hotel with COVID, and I figured I might as well take advantage of my time because I can't go anywhere. So that's where I actually did the last 2 lyrical songs for the record. I was at the hotel by rehearsal. I did some. We had a pool house at our place in Vegas. It was, could be a 1-bedroom apartment for somebody. That's where I had my guitar stuff. So I just go out there and work, not bother anybody in the house. We had a smaller house in Vegas. It was kind of like us moving into town and seeing where we wanted to be. I made some stuff up there. So, a couple different environments, papers everywhere, different lyrical ideas everywhere. And, when the moment hits that, like, this goes with that, then you just build on it.
And how did the pandemic disrupt your plans, like to release the album? Because you could.
It definitely delayed it, but the thing the pandemic did was make me not want to tour right away because all the rules were different. And I just retired, and I didn't want to have to learn how to do it again in a way that I wasn't familiar with. And there was so many bands that couldn't play. All the venues were backed up. So I told everyone, I'm like, I don't want to go up against this, because as much as you believe it or not, this is a new band. And these other bands are established. They're going to get all the markets first. So let them go by. Then we'll come out.
Did you take any time out after the last Slayer gig? Or?
Not really, because we were done in November 19. And I think I dove into wholeheartedly working on music right after the Super Bowl, which is right about the time the pandemic hit. So we were all stuck in the house anyway.
Do you imagine your life without the road? Because you're so...
Well, it was nice. Yeah, because, we toured a lot every year.
Since you were like 16 years old, 17 years old.
Yeah, but the last 5, because everybody wants to see you one last time. It was very busy. So it was good to be home, but it wasn't good being forced to be home.
Know what you mean? Your band, I would like to talk about the band. Was it difficult for you to choose the right people like to play with?
It wasn't.
Were you looking for friends or more for friends than
totally for friends?
Really?
And I got all my number ones. So I don't have to make excuses for anybody. and when we got together and gelled, it was better than I ever thought it was going to be. Phil, he's a phenomenal guitar player. I mean, I knew he was good, but he blows me away every day. I'm like, this guy can play anything. Kyle Sanders too. Kyle, I didn't really know much about his playing. Like, we played together on 2015 Mayhem. He was in Hell Yeah. And that's when I, got his number and we exchanged numbers, and because we just hung out and we were friends. I never thought I was going to need a bass player for anything. And, when I hit him up and he came in and we started doing gigs, I'm like, this guy's a fucking beast. My God. Very, very happy. Very happy with my choices.
And he's like Troy Macedon's brother.
Yep.
Do you like Macedon actually?
I like the Macedon guys.
The guys, what about the music?
Music's not my thing. It's too progressive, and like we did that tour with them last summer, Lamb of God, Macedon, us. And I would check them out, and I try to like them because they're my friends, and it's just not my thing. I don't got anything against it. It's just not my thing.
I think that Phil came last year to the same festival, to Bangers Open Air, playing with Lamb of God.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he was here.
I'm not surprised. He was the man that filled in all the metal spots for a while. He was playing for everybody.
You said that Kyle used to play in Hell Yeah. Hell Yeah was Vinnie Paul's band.
Yep.
Were you close to the Pantera guys?
I was closer to Dime than Vince, but we were close. But Dime and I were guitar players, so we were closer.
What about Mark?
Mark, I knew he was a good singer. And I gave him the gig last because we weren't running any races to get anything done. So, it's in my best interest to make the best choice for the band and see who's interested. See if anybody say Rob Halford says, "Hey, I want to sing in your band." Really? I'd be a dick not to take him. I didn't ever see that coming. I dreamt it a few times probably, but
your favorite singer. Huh?
Yeah, you gotta wait and see where all the pieces fall. And Mark came in and demoed with me and Paul for like 8-10 months off and on, and he would always come in and sing the songs I'd already sang. Next time he come in, he'd better his performances. He'd know the parts better. And I gave him the gig probably like 2 months before he went to actually record it. He was the last one. I knew he was going to be the guy. There was no rush.
Was he your first choice?
Yeah.
Really? Because we heard a rumor that maybe Phil from Pantera was
everybody that wears a suit in my organization wanted Phil.
Really?
Yeah, it was the record company, it was the management, it was the promoters, it was the booking agents, because they saw dollars. Kerry King and Phil, they'll be doing Pantera songs, they'll be doing Slayer songs, they'll be doing original songs. It's an arena band right off. So I entertained the idea, and we had a couple of talks about it, and then the Pantera thing came up, and it just kind of went away.
Mark has a good range singing, but I think that
Mark has an exceptional range.
Yeah, you're right, man. But I thought that he kept like a kind of Tom Araya kind of way of singing.
Well,
did you ask him, or was his choice?
I wrote all that stuff. So I wrote all the stuff that Tom sang too. So they're getting that because they're mimicking what I sang. And I don't have range.
But you sing it too.
I don't have. I have fun with it. But I can't sing and play for one thing. So they're basically mimicking what I did when I did scratch vocals. That's what we call them, scratch vocals. And Mark came in, and when he did his last demo and where he ended up on the record are vastly different things. Like I was in another room in the studio doing something musical, And I came in, the producer, Josh Wilbur, said, I want you to hear this. And it was Residue. And I got through the first verse and I stopped him. I'm like, how did you guys end up at this register? I said, he's never sung it like this in the 8 months we've been working on this. And Josh said, well, that's where he felt comfortable. And I immediately went into Mark and I said, hey, is this reproducible? Because, yeah, I don't want you to do 3 shows and then your voice be fucked for a month. And he swore up and down he could, and he's still doing it. So I'm happy where it ended up, and I'm not used to being surprised, and that was a happy surprise for sure.
And how was to work with Josh?
Josh was great.
Worked with many good bands.
Yeah.
Lamb of God.
And, you know, and I didn't, because in this day and age where you don't buy CDs anymore and I don't have a hard disc or a hard copy, I don't know who's producing anything. I don't even know song titles anymore. So I didn't know Josh. Gerardo from RPM introduced me to Josh, and I didn't think he was going to be the guy because he was busy when I wanted to go in. And he came in and heard our music, cleared up some space, and we went in and did our record in 2 weeks.
Were you beside him, like, do this, do that, or you left him to do his own stuff?
I mostly left him to do his own stuff. I mean, there's certain things I have to point out to make sure they're addressed in the right way. But I mean, he was a wizard on the computer and on the mixing desk. He's just so fast that he would fix something, play it back for me, and I would say, I don't even know where you are, man.
Really?
Tell me what context this is in. And I'm like, yeah, it sounds fine, but I mean, he's just going forward, backward, moving things, and he's really good at what he does.
Would you like to produce the album, or it's another kind?
I ain't got time for that.
No,
but I don't have the passion for that. I did executive producer on this one because I had my hands on everything. You know, me and Paul were the only ones that played live. I was watching Kyle because he had never played with us. He was just playing off the tapes I sent him. So some of the things are so fast that you may hit a note that you think's right and isn't. So I'm watching him like a hawk just to make sure he played it right. And I can point out, no, man, it's not on fret 3, it's on fret 2, or vice versa. So we don't hear it like a month later and go, God damn, we missed something. So yeah, watching Phil play his leads, watch Mark like a hawk. Me and Josh and Mark, the 3 of us together, created the new Mark.
Did you have time enough to rehearse the songs before recording it?
Who did?
You with the band,
no,
with the guys.
We didn't play together.
You didn't play
when the record came out, we had not played together. Well, not when it came out, I'm sorry. In the studio, we didn't play together.
Really?
Paul and I did. Phil did his leads to the track. Kyle did his leads to the track. Mark did his leads or his vocals to the track. With the first time we played together, and it wasn't even plugged in, was for the video. The first video.
The first video?
The first time the first video was Idle Hands. That's not really a video.
The first single too. Huh?
And then what came out? Residue, I think. Residue was the next one.
Okay.
I think. Residue. Yeah. And that was the first time we actually played together, even though we weren't plugged in. But we got a chance to see how we gelled together and see the band together for the first time in a playing environment. And the first time we actually played together with volume was rehearsals for the Reggie show.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Could you talk about the choice of Idle Hands to start like the first single and the first video? Because I thought it was an excellent choice, man.
I think it's the best choice on the record. I fought my record guy. My record guy wanted Residue. I'm like, Residue's a great song.
It's the second single.
Yeah. I'm like, it's a great song. It shouldn't be out first because they're going to want more. They're going to want more ties to Slayer, you know? And I think Idle Hands is a very riffy, the riffs are there. The leads are there. The vocals are there. It's what everybody I think wanted me to be. So I demanded Idle Hands be the first single. And it kind of described my life between Slayer and this band. You know, Idle Hands do the devil's work like always. Yeah, it's what I thought fans wanted of me.
Could you say that it's your favorite song in this album, or you don't have a favorite one?
Oh, yeah, it's fucking tough, man. I had an interview earlier. I just kept rattling off songs because I couldn't stop. Idle Hands, I like Idle Hands a lot. I like Where I Rain. change of pace. I like Shrapnel. Shrapnel's a great live song.
Tension. I love
Tension's
that song.
great too. Yeah.
It's great, man.
Yeah, it's one of those songs. It's one of those songs that you can't play in the daylight. So if we're playing too early, you'll never hear Tension. If it's dark, we'll play it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What about Two Fists? I think there is a kind of hardcore punk flavor. Am I right?
I wrote that song as a 80s punk tribute.
Okay.
And the riffs, I wanted to be as if the guitar player in an 80s punk band made them. The lyrics, I wanted to be as if a 80s punk vocalist wrote them. I wanted to have that feel and that vibe. I think the only thing that strays from that a little bit is the riffy part. Sounds like a heavy Kiss riff. But that was just me adding my own flavor to it. But it's basically for my love of bands like Adolescence, like DI, and I think it could have ended up on either one of those bands' albums.
Did you like punk rock like the first time you heard?
No, I hated it.
Took it a while.
Took a while, yeah, because Jeff was all about it, and he's all about something. That's all he plays. That's all
Jeff
he
liked it.
Oh yeah, Jeff had found punk before any of us, and I was just getting my feet wet in some of the deeper parts of metal. You know, I was just a radio kid. I didn't know till first time I heard Judas Priest and went, that's what I need to be doing. So yeah. And my big thing was, why would I listen to that when I've got two guitar bands like Priest or Maiden? I've got Rob Halford, Ronnie James Dio just blowing me away with every note they fucking sing. And these punk guys might be playing 3 chords in a song with a guy just screaming some angst. And I like it. I didn't like it then. Because I didn't get it. I didn't understand how two things could exist like that. But then as we started evolving into a more thrashy, punk influenced band, it made sense.
Talking about Rob Halford, he used to live in Phoenix, I think, too.
I think he still does.
Was he your neighbor, or did you live close?
You know, I think he moved there not long before I left Phoenix. I was out of Phoenix in 98, but I didn't really live there. That's just when I sold my last house there. So I think when he was there, I was on my way out. And he didn't live in my side of town. I was west side, he was east side.
Okay. I'd like to talk about...
I wish Rob Halford was my neighbor.
Cool. Huh? He's your favorite band, metal band, do you think?
Oh,
Judas Priest?
Yeah. I mean, I love Sabbath. And it would, at the end of the day, it would have to come down between Sabbath and Priest. But Priest, Halford's been there the entire time. And he's the metal god.
Do you have a favorite album? Priest album?
Stay in Class.
This one?
Yep.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's a coincidence. Huh? What about Rage? I would like to talk about Rage, the song. I love that song. Was it supposed to be in Repentless?
There was 2. There was From Hell I Rise and Rage. Yep.
Oh, the title track too.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened? Why?
I didn't like the performance on them. We didn't need them. From Hell I Rise was always supposed to be the last song on the album. Even on Repentless, I wrote it to be the last song on the album.
With the same title?
Same title. I might have changed a lyric or 2, but it wasn't what it needed to be. Like if we were having drinks one night and I had them both on hand, I'd play it, and I'd play the Slayer one reluctantly. It just didn't turn out, you know?
I would like to talk about the cover and your logo. I love it. And it's a Brazilian guy.
Oh,
Marcelo
yeah.
Vasco.
Yeah.
How did you get in touch with him?
He did the Repentless album cover.
2.
Yeah. And my guy at the record company, stayed in touch with him. I've still got his email. We email from time to time. And I think they were throwing names around. I'm like, well, you got to give Marcelo a shot at it. Why not? And he did what ended up being the cover. I liked it all along, where we went down a couple different avenues just to see if we can get another piece of the Slayer puzzle taken away. But at the end of the day, I thought it was the best one for the cover, so we went with it.
And even the logo is quite cool, huh?
The logo,
The way he wrote.
I think the singer from Carcass made that up.
Oh, the logo, Kerry King, like
The KK.
the KK.
Yeah.
I wasn't Marcelo, so
No.
I thought it was him too.
No, this went back to when it was called. Well, I was going to call it something else, and it was a B and an R, then it was a K and an R, but they all had the same angles, so it still worked with a cross. Yeah, that went back to a dinner meeting I had with Gerardo years ago when we first started talking about this.
Did you ever think about being solo before?
No,
Never.
I had no desire. My time was spent for Slayer. I wasn't the guy that thought I was bigger than anything, and I wanted to do my own thing. My songs were for Slayer until Slayer didn't want them.
And what's going to happen with the band now? Are you keep on going, record a second album,
Oh, absolutely.
be on tour?
Yeah. I think. Well, what I've always said is, as soon as the record one album cycle is done, which right now is looking like October, Paul and I want to go in and record music immediately, like within a week, take a week off. And you want to have your tour chops, you want to be your best. You don't want to go rehearse for another month and a half till you get good again. You want to take, you want to be on point and give these songs the performance that all the fans want them to be.
Where have you played so far? I heard Australia, Europe. You played all over?
We did Europe, Australia, Mexico, States, Canada, South America in a month.
In a month.
Yep.
So what you're doing right now, is it a kind of promotion tour?
Yeah. This kind of popped up out of nowhere. I'm moving this week, supposed to be moving, and here I am talking about music, which my wife's not super excited about, but this got offered, and I'm like, that's really cool. It's really impressive that they want to come down and have a real press run, which I don't think I've ever done in South America.
I know you love to be on stage, but what do you think about the other side of music? Like giving interviews, traveling, this kind of stuff. Do you like it?
Well, there's definitely an art to it. You gotta be able to outsmart the interviewer, because in the wrong situations, the interviewer will try to outsmart you and get stupid quotes and print stupid things. And when I find people that do that, I don't do interviews with those people anymore, because we're here to provide each other a service. You're looking to forward the progression of my band. I'm looking to forward the progression of your podcast. We're here to help each other, not make parodies of each other.
That's true. I agree with you, man. I would like to know what you like doing in your spare time. If you have any spare time, because I know you're always working, man.
I've been working a lot on music.
Even at home, do you like listening to music?
Since we got off in like a month ago, I finished 2 songs for the new record. Just music. Haven't played them to Paul yet, so we have no drums yet, but I gotta get that moving. I want to keep going because none of us are kids anymore. I'm the oldest one, and everybody wants to work because we all love this band and we love the fans' reaction to this band. So there's not going to be big gaps, 3, 4, 5 years. I hope to be done recording this year, and whenever the record company wants to put out in 26, that would be 1 record and 2 records in 2 years. I'm sorry, 1 record, then another record out 2 years later. And that's pretty productive in this day of music. So, we want to just pedal to the metal, man. Floor it.
And you have a very physical way of playing too, man. I tried to play some Slayer songs or your own songs. It's very tough.
I gotta tell you,
you must be like, you practice
some
every
of the
day,
ones,
you think?
Some of the
every day,
some
every
of the
day?
ones like I revisited before we did Slayer last year. I'm like, we should play this song. I can't play it that fast anymore. It's just, that was Kerry in his early 20s. I'm 60 this year. Well, this year I'm maybe 61. So even though I've got the same technique, it's just your joints don't move that fast anymore. So you go out there and present it in a way that people don't notice it's slower. You keep the intensity up, and they don't care. They're just happy to see the song. So yeah, it's physical and demanding.
Do you usually warm up a lot before the gig?
I warm up at least an hour.
It's
yeah.
impossible just to get on
And
stage.
we always come out playing something hot. like this tour we were playing Where I Rain. That's not too slow.
Not at all, man.
You got to be ready for that one.
That's true, man. Well, I would like to know about your spare time, you said, but I know you like pinball machines too, huh?
Yeah, I got a few pinball machines.
I love it.
I got sidetracked. During American football season, I love American football. So
You have many hobbies.
Sundays don't exist for me because I'm watching football all day.
You like soccer too, or just football?
Because it wasn't, when I was growing up, it wasn't a thing in America. Here, and of course it is. So it was just cultural. It started to catch in America after I was already like this with football, American football. So yeah, I see it more now. It's a lot more prominent in America, but it's like any other sport. Like if you don't catch on when you're young, it's kind of like just over here happening when what you're really focused on is right here.
Do you actually play any sports?
I played baseball. I played basketball. I played tennis in high school. I never played football because my parents wouldn't let me.
Okay.
Which is smart because I didn't turn out to be a big guy.
What about snakes? I know you're exotic.
I haven't had when I moved to the East Coast, I got rid of everything.
You gave up of creating a.
Yep.
What was your relation with snakes?
I enjoy making things that people haven't seen before, and I was good at it.
How many did you have?
At the end of a breeding season, there was probably a couple thousand.
Wow.
Just because.
Only pythons or many species?
I had a lot of pythons. I something I've loved for probably 30, 35 years is South Brazilian red-tail boas. And I had them the first time I had snakes, and I had them the second time I had snakes. They're just red-tail boas are throughout South America and some of the islands and parts of Mexico, but the South Brazilian ones are totally unique looking, and I liked them.
Have you been to Butantan? Have you heard about it? Butantan here in São Paulo, it's like a place where they create snakes and they produce like anti-venom.
Yeah, I don't think I've had enough time.
That's a good choice for you, huh?
Yeah.
It's a good place.
Yeah, I'm still into it. I just don't have any.
When you travel around, do you have time like to go to visit the city, or you're always busy?
I have time to do things.
You like doing it?
A lot of times there's like one day off. So I'll probably sleep all day and then go out, have good food someplace, and go to the show the next day. So unless I plan on going to, I got lots of people in the zoo industry in America and Europe and Australia. So I might plan to do something and then go make a day of it. But if I don't do that, I just catch up on sleep probably.
Do you have a favorite food? Favorite food?
I'm kind of into German food right now.
German?
Yeah.
Chucrutes and...
I like schnitzel and bratwurst, spatzel.
Sausages.
Love sausage, yep.
I would like to ask you about this. I never thought that Slayer were going to have like a
Neither did I.
Pop. Whose idea was that?
Not mine.
Not yours? But you saw it.
Oh,
of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
Do you have many of...
I got like 4 of them.
Did you like your own version?
I think it's cool. My wife said it's not a Funko Pop, it's a Drunko Pop. And she lays them down like that. The Drunko Pop.
Drunko Pop, I love that, man. Tell me something. I heard that you were the best pupil at school in mathematics. Is it true?
When was that?
Or just a rumor?
No. And I think it was junior high. So it would be grade 7, 8, and 9 in America, North America. I got the math award for best math for that period. And then in 10th and 11th grade, I stayed up at that high level. And then I found girls and it went out the fucking window.
I understand.
I got my first D in 11th grade. And then I'm like, oh, this sucks. I like girls a whole lot better than math. So 12th grade, I had so many credits. I just took a bunch of electives, like teacher's aid classes, just to pass high school. And then I just went to band.
When you found out that you want to be a musician, was it early in your life, like to be a professional and have a band and go on the road?
I played guitar as kind of a activity to keep me out of bad circles.
When have you started?
We grew up in kind of gangland in Southern California, so my parents wanted to keep me out of trouble. So guitar was one of the options, and the option I went with. And that was when I was 13, and I was already playing in a band when I was 16. My guitar teacher's band.
With your guitar teacher, that's true. With Tom too?
Tom was in that band, yep. And that was a top 40 kind of hard rock cover band. So a lot of songs I wasn't into, but we played Highway Star. That's very cool. Played a couple of Van Halen songs, which the early stuff is priceless.
You saw many times on Van Halen concert live.
And then when that went away, I went and auditioned for, it's out of the paper. You just, when we used to use newspapers to get information, and I found a band I went and tried out for, and Jeff was like the door guy at the studio. So I met him, said hello, went and checked out this band. I knew it wasn't the right fit. And I came out and I saw Jeff, and he was playing guitar, playing a lot of songs I knew, playing Def Leppard, playing Priest, playing all kinds of stuff. And I said, hey, you in a band? And he's like, no. And I said, would you like to be?
So you did a test for the other band. I heard it was kind of Southern rock.
I don't even remember. But that makes sense. So I got together with Jeff and Dave, who had just come into the picture, and we played together once or twice. And I hit up Tom and I said, hey, I got this thing. Are you still looking to sing? And off we went.
And when did you find out like you wanted some heavier stuff? Because I know you like some pop,
I think it just evolved. I don't think it was a conscious thought. I think it just evolved, We had just gotten turned on to Venom and Motorhead. Metallica was in the Southern California scene before they went back to the Bay Area. I saw Metallica in Southern California when Mustaine was still in the band.
Wow, that's cool.
It was super cool.
In the very beginning.
Yeah. And we were already doing kind of what they were. I mean, they were doing it, but we were kind of already doing it as well. We were just a few months behind them, I think, in the realization of faster is cool. Yeah, and it just, our wrists went from being more hard rock, simple metal to more thrash metal-y stuff.
Could you talk about your experience with Mustaine on Megadeth? How long did it take?
I played the first 5 shows.
Only 5 shows?
Mm-hmm.
And how did you like his music?
Well, I love Mustaine to this day. I think he's one of the greatest guitar players out there still. So when I don't even remember how I heard that he wanted me to play second guitar to him, but I was flattered because even back then I thought he was awesome.
But were you playing in Slayer at that time too?
Yeah, I think we were kind of in between records.
Okay. So you never thought about leaving Slayer to play in Megadeth?
I'm sure I probably did. But, this is where I belong. And, in hindsight, I absolutely made the right choice because me and Dave would have butted heads like no tomorrow, It's just his personality. Look how many people have been in his band. 50? I mean, I don't know.
Many.
And that's not me down talking Mustaine. It's just I like hanging with him for 20 minutes and then you go away and I'll see you in a year.
Okay. Tell me something. When you released like Raining Blood, you were 22, 21. You're very young. How did this kind of success affected you? Or it never did?
It was an instant success. I mean, that was the most we had ever toured with the most luxuries. Like we got our first tour bus on that album. We probably started getting hotels by ourselves instead of sharing rooms. So getting a taste of success. Yeah. But it was like the beginning of getting bigger. I think we probably peaked around 90, 91 seasons when the not Big Four, Clash of the Titans was out, had a couple tours. And then grunge came out and just kicked metal in the nuts and everything else for that matter. And it seems like every thrash band kind of lost their way in the 90s.
I agree
Us
with
for sure.
on Clash of Titans.
and then new metal came out and kind of cemented the fact that thrash was just not at the forefront anymore. And that kind of led me to not be into creating music because I didn't understand why what was popular. And I didn't like it. I'm like, how can you people like this stuff? And
New metal.
it's the only time in my life I ever let that happen. As you can tell by the first record we did in 2000 was God Hates Us All. And I came back and said, yeah, sorry about that 90s stuff. I got it. I got it now.
And during that Clash of Titans, Alice in Chains was playing. I think
they were great.
It was the first band to play in the bill. And they were like booed and everybody hated them.
Yep.
Do you remember that?
I do. And I remember going out on stage with Jeff every day and watching because I thought Lane was magic.
Fantastic.
Lane was amazing. And Jerry too. Jerry's a great rock guitar player. Still is.
So you like it grunge. It's kind of grunge music. And new metal.
Well, I like the Alice in Chainsy, Soundgarden before Soundgarden got too poppy. The heavier stuff.
What about new metal? Korn and this bands.
I got nothing against Korn. It's not my thing. I just never got into it.
I'd like to ask you about the experience of acting. I just watched like Brooklyn's Finest. You were as a cop, and the Studio 666.
I don't even know what Brooklyn's Finest is.
It's a movie with Ethan Hawke.
I'm in it.
You are.
I don't remember that at all.
And NYPD on your back.
Wow.
I watched like the trailer, and you were there, man.
I gotta check that out.
And I checked it on Google to see. Oh, I'm sure it was Kerry, and it was you, man. You can't remember that?
No idea.
No idea. And Studio 666.
Well, I remember that.
You were electrocuted.
Mm-hmm.
How was the experience? Did you like it?
Well, the director is the guy that did the last 3 Slayer videos. So that's probably why I'm in that movie. Certainly not because I can act.
But you like it? You like the experience of acting?
It was cool. Yeah, I mean, I got to experience real FX makeup. Like those guys are top notch, and I had 3 of them working on me for 2 hours, so 6 man hours for that last really burned makeup. That gets a little tedious, but it was fun, the process. I knew a lot. I knew the guy. He was a production manager in that movie. He's the guy that's in our last 3 videos. I don't know his name, but just see the familiar faces, and Dave Grohl I've known. So it was really cool to be in that environment.
If someone invites you to do another film, would you like to do it?
In the right circumstance, yeah.
It's a good one.
Certainly not against it.
Okay. To finish here, so I'd like to ask you 2 things. Do you remember the first record you bought in your life?
I have a good idea, because I get asked this from time to time, and my memory serves as it being Van Halen, Women and Children First.
Well, third one.
Because I think that's about when I had my own money.
And you went to the shop
from whatever job I had, whatever stupid teenage job. I think it was that one.
What kind of job did you have before playing?
Nothing real. I mean, I worked in a toy store during the holidays.
Cool.
I worked at a pet store. I worked at a mini golf place. I think that's about it.
You like dogs, huh? You like pets. I saw some pictures with cats. And do you have many pets?
We have 6 cats and we have 2 dogs.
Wow, 6 cats. Cool. Huh? And last one, do you remember the first concert you went by yourself? I know you went with your sisters, but it's kind of different. Do you remember the first one that you said?
I don't.
I want to go to that band.
Well, I know that I went and I wasn't supposed to. And I came home and somebody rear-ended my car. So that didn't go over well. But I'm guessing it would have been early Van Halen or Styx around Pieces of 8, maybe.
Styx, cool.
Because I saw them multiple times at the LA Forum. That's where I went to all the shows.
And do you remember the first concert that really blew your mind?
I don't. I went from being a spectator to being a student very quick. So if I was buying tickets, I would buy first row in the loge, so you're above everybody, and I could get my binoculars out and nerd out on the guitar player. Like, even if I knew how to play the riff, I want to see how he's playing it to see if I'm playing it different.
To check it out. Talking about the riffs, the last question here was your the first riff that you learned, Catch Scratch Fever from Ted Nugent. I heard that. Maybe, do you remember?
Maybe. It could have been something like Jay Giles.
Jay Giles Band.
Could have been, what do they have?
Centerfold.
No.
A big hit.
Just not coming to me. Talk about something else, I'll get it.
Centerfold, and there was another
Not
one
Centerfold.
too. Yeah,
it was before that. Love Stinks.
Okay, that's pretty cool, man.
But it was a heavy riff. Da na 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 da da da. It was heavy enough for me to learn it.
That's a good riff. Last one here. Is it true that Slayer almost was called Wings of Fire?
I think that might have been on the short list, but I don't think anybody liked it. There's 3 names.
Do you remember the names?
I think that was one. I thought I remembered the other one, but I guess I don't. Huh. Yeah, I don't. Right now, I don't remember it.
And what's going to happen?
We chose the best one.
I'm sure about that. And what's going to happen with Slayer now? I saw you have like 5 different dates playing festivals in UK and America. What's going to happen with the band?
We might do that every year. We might not.
A couple of concerts.
I'm very happy to be part of the Black Sabbath show.
Okay.
And that's why 2 of the shows are happening, because they're right around it. And then when we come back, we play one in Quebec. And then we play the one that got canceled last year. We're making that one up this year. And then we got one more in Pennsylvania to tie into that one. So there's 6 shows this year. Nothing planned for next year, but that don't mean it will or won't happen.
Do you still need to rehearse with them? Or
oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean, before we did the ones last year, we hadn't played together in 5 years. So, and we played 213, which we haven't played in at least 25 years. That was fun. Trying to learn that one. I tell you, I would looked online, like when I'm trying to learn covers, which, I mean, essentially that's a cover. If I haven't played it in 25 years, I got to relearn it. So I go online and watch people showing me how they play stuff. Like, that's how I learned some of the Maiden stuff. And I'm watching this dude play the 213 riffs. I'm like, I do not remember playing that riff like that. And sure as shit, he had it right.
Do you consider like releasing new stuff with Slayer? Or?
No.
Not at all?
No, that's done.
So your band now, Kerry King, and that's it?
I couldn't do that to my guys. I mean, I spent too much time recruiting these guys, and last thing I want to do is make them not feel happy about this band because I take off for 2 months with Slayer. You know, if I do it for a week or 10 days, nobody gives a shit about that. But this is my band. So
the guys are full-time with you too?
Yep.
They gave up the other bands, and even
Death Angel still plays.
Okay.
You know, but Mark, if I'm playing, Mark's going to be there.
He's very dedicated to the band, I feel. Kerry, it was a really nice pleasure to talk to you, man.
Good to be back.
Really, it's the 3rd time that we talk, because I interviewed you twice in '94.
Twice the same year?
Yeah, the same year. One just before the gig and one at the hotel. And you were nice to me too, man. So I thank you very much, okay?
So it's got to be, man. It's all about the fans. Cheers. These stupid mugs.
Thanks, man. É isso aí, Mr. Kerry King. Estarei lá no show. I'll be there, huh? On the concert, for sure. I hope so, huh?
Damn right.
Yeah. É isso aí.